Hey everybody, it has been a long time since I've appeared on camera, but it is a special occasion with the release of Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now this series has always been the major crossover, and I have been personally most excited for representation of one of my favorite franchises, which is Earthbound. Alyssa, come in here. You're perfect, Katie. Yes, please be Kumatora for me. Thank you for helping out in my final Smash. So Super Smash Bros. Has always been a celebration of history game franchises. But I could have never anticipated just how well my favorite of the trilogy, Mother 3, is represented here. Something really creative and unique about this new entry in Smash is the introduction of Spirits Mode, where a world-ending attack annihilates not only the entire main cast, but every video game character in their respective universes. The scope of that is crazy. All NPCs, animals, and things with a soul are turned into spirits that can possess clones of the 70+ fighters in the game. Among these is, of course, characters from the Earthbound series, but most noteworthy to me is Lucas's family, Hinawa and Klaus. There is a lot of hidden meaning for these two characters in particular, so I'll be explaining what their spirits in Smash mean with aspects like their placement on the map in adventure mode. Now I'm going to try and do a better job than Brawl did at preserving Mother 3's story, so please treat the rest of this video as a major spoiler warning for that game. There will also be spoilers for World of Light 2, but I'll let you know when that's coming up. So to begin, the opening cutscene for World of Light shows that characters caught in Galim's energy blast die, and are then turned into a spirit under its control. But what about those that have already passed? Let's take a look at the game these characters I'm talking about are from. The first major turning point in Mother 3 is during the opening chapter, where Lucas's mom is tragically murdered by a chimera built by the antagonist. Their father Flint lashes out in an outrage. His twin brother Klaus leaves on his own to try and avenge their mom. So Lucas is essentially abandoned for 3 years after this trauma that tears his family apart. The very idea then that Hinawa's spirit has been pulled from its resting place and is now forced to possess a fighter in Smash is insane. And just within Smash itself, it's known Lucas's tragic past, as it's acknowledged to the point where even his enemies feel bad for him. Except for Viridi, but she thinks all humans are stupid monkeys in general, so... Anyway, my point, and the really twisted fact in considering all this, is that Lucas can be the one to fight her spirit. And since he's my main, as Lucas, I naturally came across her on the adventure board. So it's worth noting that spirits in this game possess the playable character most similarly attributed to them. In this case, Zelda acts as a host for Hinawa. I guess she can be motherly? While her two sons are represented by Lucas and his Klaus alt. It's held on the Yoshi's Island stage, which makes sense as her essence is symbolized by sunflowers, even though these are daisies, while also working to set a sadly nostalgic tone with the childhood aesthetic. Imagine being Lucas in this scenario, seeing his mother after all these years, but not really, as her soul's being used as a puppet for Galim. Her spirit has proven to be a powerful force in Mother 3, more on that in a bit. So can she take reins long enough to talk to her son one last time? Thinking theoretically like this can be heartrending, but even worse, in my opinion, is fighting an isolated Klaus right afterwards. Because Klaus too has an even more unfortunate fate. In Chapter 1 of Mother 3, he falls to that same creature when he attempts to hunt it and avenge his mom. Pokey, or Porky, the secondary antagonist from Earthbound, is responsible, as he's been forcing scientists to modify animals to his liking making them more aggressive, half-machine hybrids. After the fight, Porky takes advantage of an unconscious Klaus, kidnapping and reconstructing the boy into a slave robot called Masked Man to do his bidding. The final fight of the game sees Lucas facing off against his transformed brother, while Hinawa's voice, that strong will I mentioned earlier, calls out to the both of them to stop fighting. With the shred of humanity left in Klaus, he shoots a blast of lightning at Lucas's Franklin badge, fully aware the attack would reflect and kill him. Klaus commits suicide, so now that his spirit can be fought again by Lucas in Smash, he'll have to relive quite probably the most devastating memory anyone could have to bear. While it was of course indirect, it was Lucas's Franklin badge that killed Klaus. And because he was wearing it, I feel like Lucas, with that anxious, introverted personality he has, could blame himself for his brother's fate. Connecting that to Smash, it's now time for some World of Light spoilers, so skip to this time if you do not want to hear it. You all cleared out? At the beginning of this video, I described the placement of both Hinawa and Klaus's spirit on the map to be noteworthy. And what do I mean by that? Honestly, it's poetic. After defeating Galim for the first time, it's revealed that he's simply the light counterpart to Darkon. God, these names are too obvious. Who must also be vanquished. When the two lords are at war, you can combat either side by fighting the souls they command. Hinawa's spirit is being used by Galim as a force of light, while Klaus's is interestingly a force of dark on the other side. Because he died as Porky's slave, it's really sad to imagine yet another antagonist controlling this poor kid. It seems that not even in the afterlife can his soul be truly free. Until you save him, that is, by first challenging his child form, then Masked Man, represented by a metal Klaus with his signature saber. This battle takes place in Pikmin's Garden of Hope stage, again chosen because of the sunflower motif. But this is where Smash Ultimate Spirit Mode is super creative, and scenarios like this are endless for the stories to tell. For example, in my fight with Klaus, I equipped the Franklin badge as Lucas, and those electric attacks work to further simulate that final battle. If you really want to get the waterworks going, enhance Lucas with Hinawa as a newly acquired spirit. Then you'll really call back to hard times. Their mom will be watching over just like she did then. This ideal can be applied to Hinawa's fight too, if you're feeling particularly heartless. So this is something I thought about doing when I first heard the concept of spirit battles, and I know others have had a similar idea. But for that inner monster in you, there's a few ways to recreate Hinawa's death. In Mother 3, Hinawa's heart was pierced by the fang of a Mecha Drago, which is a roboticized version of these creatures. Since there are a few beasts in the roster that can represent a Drago, you could say use Ganondorf and his final smash to deliver that final blow. Or, for ultimate depravity, Lucas in his baby Drago shirt. Personally, I thought Mecha Ridley was the perfect stand-in, so I ended up using that and his green ult. Then I felt absolutely terrible about myself. Anyway, to disassociate myself with Porky, apparently, I thought it was very interesting that Hinawa's spirit is both a major presence in Smash and her debut game. In addition to reaching out to the boys at the end of Mother 3, she also appears earlier as an apparition to reunite Lucas with his party. I interpreted that as her spirit being in a constant state of distress, lingering in the Nowhere Islands to look after her children. So again, in saying that, it's rough to imagine her spirit being pulled from limbo. I never thought her character would reappear in such a similar and significant way like this, So I'm grateful for World of Light's approach to spirit battles and their storytelling capability. I encourage you to try out some 4 fun combinations like I just did yourself. There are set parameters. Sure, you can't do whatever you want, of course, but with some imagination, scenarios like Lucas's family coming together is possible. That creative energy, to me, is the core of what this game's built around, and as a result, it's my favorite Smash game to date. But that's all I had for today. Did you guys enjoy the video? Are there any other situations you can come up with that I didn't think of? Let me know in the comments. I plan to also compile every single reference to the Mother series in Smash for a separate video, so look forward to that, and I'll see you next time.